All right, it's 7:04. We'll call the meeting to order. All members are present. We'll begin with the transmitting of Treasury warrants 43, 43A, 44, and 44A. Do we have a motion?
Motion so moved.
Second.
Made and seconded. Anything further? All in favor? It's unanimous. We have no minutes to approve this evening, so we'll move directly to our 7 o'clock appointment with Joseph M. Gleason, Verizon New England, Inc. It's regarding a public hearing relative to the request of Verizon New England, Inc. to place approximately 85 feet of underground conduit on Main Street / Route 38. Good evening, Mr. Gleason.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. For the record, my name is Joseph Gleason. I'm a right-of-way agent with Verizon New England, Inc. Our office is located at 28 Diana Lane in Dracut. As you stated, Mr. Chairman, the petition before you this evening is a request of Verizon to place approximately 85 feet of underground conduit along the easterly side of Main Street, which is also known as Route 38, from pole 12 over 59. We're going to place 75 feet of underground conduit from the existing pole southward along Main Street to an existing manhole, 7809, as shown on your plan, and then run 10 feet of conduit from the existing manhole into the driveway at 730 Main Street. A couple things about this petition. First and foremost, that section of Route 38 is under the dominion and control of the Massachusetts Highway Department. This is a state-maintained roadway at this locus. So for purposes of tonight's hearing, I will tell you that because it's state-maintained, the obligation of Verizon to place this conduit is sought and obtained from the Massachusetts Highway Department, and Verizon has secured those rights. So my presence here tonight is more or less informational. However, as I may have informed you in the past, when it comes to these types of petitions, we always like to bring these types of petitions before the governing body politic so that you know what work is being done in your town, and if there are any objections or concerns of either the board or abutters to this work, we will certainly take those back to I will certainly take those back to Verizon and request that we hold off on doing any work until such time as the concerns of either the board or the abutters are addressed. The work is going to be predominantly soft shoulder work. There will be some minor street cut at that location. It is to service the business there. It's a resin company, the 730 Main Street, and this is to bring fiber to that location. And that pretty much is all I have on this, Mr. Chairman.
Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if you or if Mr. Hull has any, are there any comments from the abutters at all in response to this impending work, negative or positive or otherwise?
We have not received any, no.
I also have a question, if I may, about the maps on the petition plan. I'm just curious. I see some indication that this is taking place fairly close to Cross Street and Butter Street, and I do see the driveway. And maybe this is just not to scale, but then on the larger map, there's a highlight, and I don't know if it's just an accident on mine or if it's on all of these, but it's substantially, I guess I would say, south from the Butters and Cross Street location. Do you have what I'm looking at?
Yeah, I don't have the second map, but as far as the petition plan is concerned, it is not to scale. What the engineers are instructed to do is, when it comes to placing conduit or placing any poles in the public way, they are to tie the main route to the closest cross street. And and it just so happens that the closest cross street is named Cross Street,
okay.
But I mean cross with a small c, and that's why you're seeing that. So if you look on the petition plan, you'll see it's quite a distance, 1,630 feet, plus or minus, to the center line of the intersection of Cross and Butters. But this is just an internal practice that we do to provide some semblance of understanding as to where the work is to be done.
So it is, in fact, further substantially down.
It is, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
We would have tied it into a closer cross street if there was one, but that's the closest one that the engineer determined to be pertinent to the location that we're looking to do the work.
And did you report, or does it say here how long or how much time we expect your work to have impact in this area? how long it'll take to complete the task at hand?
That's a question I wouldn't be able to respond to. I will say that with regards to every petition I bring before you, that question a lot of time comes up, and every time it's different. I think it all depends on, what the construction crews are doing and how busy they are on other projects. A project of this nature wouldn't invariably take too much time, but I don't, if you need to know dates of start or approximate dates of start, how long they think they're going to be out there, I can provide those to you. I don't have them with me this evening, though.
I don't, I'd be interested to know, not specifically, we're going to start on May 3rd or whatever, or a specific date, but about how long the task will take once the first shovel hits the ground is sort of a general idea of what I'm looking for. And I don't need to have you come back. I'm not going to affect my approval or anything on this. I was just curious of that.
No, what I'll do is I will have Mr. Grassi, who's the right-of-way manager, contact the town manager tomorrow and give him some approximate dates of start and how long they think it's going to. And I understand that is Route 38, heavily trafficked, and we don't want to be disturbing too much traffic out there. So I'll have Mr. Grassi address that with town manager tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
And just for your information, Mr. Gleason, the other plan that we have is the assessors map, and if you do the rough math on the linear frontage from Butters Road to the proposed location, it is give or take 1,600 linear feet, and I think there is a notation on your plan, so it does match up.
I thought you were going to tell me we were way off. So.
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Questions or comments from the audience? Seeing none, do we have any recommendations or issues from the administration?
No issues.
Okay. A motion from the board?
I make a motion that we grant the request by Verizon pertaining to the agenda this evening. Second.
Made and seconded. Anything further? All in favor? It's unanimous.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Gleason.
Yeah, these signed.
Our 7:10 appointment is with Joseph Martinello, the event chair for the Wilmington Relay for Life, and Thomas, how do I pronounce your name, Tom? Sears, okay. Cancer Prevention 3 Study Coordinator regarding the second annual American Cancer Society Wilmington Relay for Life. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having us back again this year. It was a pleasure last year to come and talk to you about this idea that we had about bringing this event to town, and I have some great news to share with you. But for those people that are watching that aren't familiar with the event, or any of you that might not be familiar with the event, let me just give a quick overview of what the event is, what people can expect at the event itself, and then I'll hand it over to Tom to talk about his important role this year in Relay for Life. So again, my name's Joe Martinello, lifetime resident of Wilmington, and 2 years ago I had gone to the Relay for Life of Burlington, and due to an athlete in town had encouraged me to go to the event. As a result of going to the event, I had such an emotional response to it and knew about the presence of cancer amongst the community of Wilmington and amongst many communities, and felt that it was an important event we could bring to our town. And the American Cancer Society runs the Relay for Life events across the nation, and they've actually expanded worldwide as well. It's a grassroots campaign to raise money for the American Cancer Society. They then take those funds, and those funds go towards cancer prevention studies, they go towards services for cancer patients, and they also go towards research as well. The events run anywhere between 12 and 24 hours. Our event last year ran about 12-15 hours. The event's also comprised of 3 main components. It starts off with a survivor ceremony and welcome ceremony to greet everybody to the event itself. During the survivor ceremony, a survivor will talk about their battle with cancer, hopefully about their overcoming cancer as well. And what we do after that ceremony completes, we get all the survivors that are present at the event, and we have them lead us into the beginning of the walk of the event itself. So the survivors will kick it off with a walk around the track, and after the survivors get around, they're greeted by their caregivers, people who have helped them battle cancer. After the caregivers complete their first walk with the survivors, then the rest of the participants who have been raising money for the event itself join in the walking. From then on, you have teams of anywhere between 8 and 15 individuals who have a team member on the track at all times during the entire event. The only time you stop walking during the event, or you don't have a representation for your team walking during the event, is during a ceremony. So the next ceremony that we would have is the Luminaria ceremony, and that's when we pause and remember some of those that have passed from cancer. We also acknowledge those that are still battling cancer as well. During the Luminaria ceremony, and let me just show you something we have in our team captain packets. We have these bags that are filled with sand, and individuals decorate these bags either with pictures or with notes or mementos, something remembering somebody that may have passed. We then put candles inside of the bags as well, and they're lit around the entire track. In addition to that, we light up the word hope on the bleachers as well with the bags. As the sun's coming down, we don't turn the lights on, and that's what everybody starts the Luminaria ceremony. It's very powerful. That's the thing that kind of pulled me in the first year that I experienced Relay for Life. At that point, we have somebody who has lost somebody from cancer talk about their experience, and that's a very emotional ceremony and speech itself. And then we all take the track together and walk as one big group, and then we start the walking again. And going into the evening, we try to do stuff to lighten the mood after such serious moments during the event. So we'll have activities. Last year we had a Miss Relay contest. We have theme laps as people are walking. So you might be wearing a crazy hat, you might be wearing a costume, etc. And we also offer up activities for the children. We have temporary tattoos, face painting. So we try to make it a family event as well. And then the event will conclude the following morning. So you walk through the night, and it'll conclude the following morning with a fight back ceremony. We'll have somebody come in and talk about what they're doing, how they're an advocate to fight back against cancer. And then after the fight back ceremony, we all go and sign a banner. And at that point, you make a promise to yourself of what you can do to help prevent yourself from getting cancer as well. So that's the overall sense of what the event is and the experience itself. The thing I'm here to most proud to say about last year is, and this is partially why Tom's in the position he is as well, and I am going to put him on the spot. He was the top fundraiser last year as well. He raised, how much did you raise, Tom?
You really did put me on the spot. I think between the three teams, 30,000, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Tom's team itself hit the goal that the Cancer Society gave us. American Cancer Society gave us a goal of $25,000, and we raised over $162,000. They expected us to have about 300 participants. We had over 700 participants. And I said in my first meeting with the American Cancer Society, Wilmington's a community. They're going to come together for this cause. We ended up winning the #1 new relay in New England last year. So much broader, and we set history. It's on record, the #1 grossing Relay for Life event in history in New England, which is pretty cool. So we had a very successful year. As a result, and I'll hand it over to Tom, we were asked to host a cancer prevention study. So in addition to Relay this year, we'll have a study at an enrollment at Relay for Life for the Cancer Prevention Study 3. So Tom, if you want to give an update on that.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Joe. So again, my name is Tom Sears, and I am the chairman for the Cancer Prevention Study number 3. A little history on the cancer prevention studies. This is the third one that American Cancer Society is doing. When they did cancer study number 2, it was very successful back in the 80s, in that two things that they came out and found was that secondhand smoking causes cancer. That may be common sense to us today, but it was only a direct result of a study like this that they found that correlation. Also, a direct link between obesity and diabetes was found through this study. This study is a direct result of and you can actually see some of the money that was raised last year in this study. Some of that money is used to help pay for this. The study involves basically, there'll be volunteers working in a tent that will then, it's my job along with other people who are involved in Relay to go out and pump this information out into the town, into the surrounding towns. Because it's only going to be as successful as there are people to participate in the study. To participate in the study, if you're between the ages of 30 and 65, never been diagnosed with cancer, and you're willing to make a lifelong commitment to this, or a long-term commitment, then you're eligible to enroll into the study. Nationwide, ACS is looking for 500,000 people to participate in the next couple of years. They're at about 180,000 now. So word is getting out there, but we still need more people. The American Cancer Society is asking, or guesstimating approximately 150 to 300 people will participate in Wilmington's study. I'm going to hope to double that number. And that's my goal, and that's Joe's goal. And our history has proven that we can do that. And that's one of the reasons why we're here today. Again, if you're between the ages of 30 and 65, and you're willing to make the commitment, then you come down to Relay. You don't have to be a resident of Wilmington, and you don't have to participate in the Relay either. What you're going to do is you're going to complete a consent form, a very brief survey of approximately 25 questions. They'll take a waist measurement in centimeters, and then there'll be trained phlebotomists there to draw a little bit of blood, approximately 7 teaspoons of blood, and that's then shipped off and used for the part of the study. After that, you're still not enrolled into the study because they'll send a more detailed packet to your home in the next couple of weeks, and more detailed information. It's based on your work habits, your exercise habits, your basically day-to-day life of what you do and where you live. And that's sent to you every other year for approximately the next 20 years. Then you're enrolled into the study. And that's where it's so important that people have to be willing to be committed to this. I can't say enough about this study. I'm not a person from Wilmington. I'm from New Jersey. But what's got me committed to this is that my daughter is a cancer survivor. And if we can put the kibosh to cancer, this is the way to do it. Wilmington is so lucky to have this study here in town. And I say lucky because if you look at the studies in New England, there are only 8 other studies between Connecticut and Massachusetts here. And Wilmington is one of them. And that's for the entire year of 2010. The closest other study is being held in Wakefield the same day. North Reading's not having one, Tewksbury's not having one, Billerica. You can name the surrounding towns around us, they're not having one. It's right here in Wilmington. And this is the only year it's ever going to be here in Wilmington. This is history making for this town. So you as selectmen should be proud to have this in your town. And Joe should be proud that he helped get it to this town. It's never going to be here again. This is it. This is the time to make history. We all know there's cancer in Wilmington. This is the time to show that the people that we know that have cancer, we haven't forgot about them. The people that lost their battle, we definitely haven't forgot about them, and this is the way to get involved and to show that. So, again, you don't have to be from Wilmington to participate, and you don't have to be enrolled in a Relay. So it's open to the public that's willing to participate in the study.
And again, just to repeat what you stated, show up to the Relay for Life. You don't even have to be participating, and get the ball rolling in that front.
That's correct. Yep, the study is between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m. Once you show up at the gate, they will direct you to the tent, and if you're willing to enroll and participate, you're more than welcome. Absolutely.
And Joe, just to step back again, date, time, location.
June 18th to June 19th, Wilmington High School. We'll be kicking off teams will be coming in at 3 p.m. to set up their tents and register. At 5 p.m. we'll kick it off with the welcome ceremony and survivor ceremony. At 8:45 we will have the luminaria ceremony, and then the following morning at 8:30 we'll wrap it up. Rain or shine, last year it rained. We had a lot of fun with it. People kept on walking. So it is a rain or shine event. It's a lot of fun. People will enjoy it. Something people will see around town is this flyer, and businesses will be, we're calling it Paint the Town Purple. We'll be going around to local businesses asking for support relative to promoting our events. They'll also have ribbons as well. You may also see some of the pamphlets around town. In addition to that, we already have some of the businesses in town that are supporting us. We've already had Kendra's and Anthony's. We've had Pepsi support us at our kickoff meeting, both Kendra and Anthony's and Pepsi. We've got sponsorships coming from corporate businesses in town as well, more for detections. $5,000 sponsorship this year, which is a pretty hefty sponsorship. We have Rocco's back again this year helping us with the Survivor Dinner. I've heard of various different businesses in town supporting this event. Whether it be, albeit having an employee be able to, while delivering a pizza, collect donations as well. So there's a lot of different unique ideas going on around town to help support this event. So,
Thank you again. Questions, comments from the board?
I'll just make a quick comment. I'm listening to everything you had to say, and what comes to my mind is, you're right, cancer's probably touched everybody here in this room somehow. I lost my mother, 42, breast cancer. And I'm sure if you took a poll in this room, it's affected somebody, so I just applaud everything that you're doing and making everything aware, and people, it's just, it's a tough subject to talk about, but what you're doing, it means a lot to a lot of folks, and thank you.
Yeah, I commend you and all your committee and all the walkers last year for all the unbelievable work that you did, and seeing all the response that you had from Wilmington is just fantastic, and good luck this year, and hope you do a lot even better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If I can just add one other important topic is, if you need more information, wilmingtonrfl.com is the website, and any information that Joe spoke of or any information that I spoke of, there's links there. There's a way to join a team, there's a way to support a team, there's a way to start a team, there's a way to make donations, all on that website. Joe has done a phenomenal job with the website. And the only thing I'm going to ask is, and anytime I speak, I just spoke with a team, your wife's team, last week, six women working very hard to raise money for this, is that I ask the high five. The high five is 500,000 people they want to enroll. My idea is you give somebody a high five and you start talking about it, and you ask them to tell 5 people. And that's how you get your high five. So if everybody up here tells 5 people and you get them interested to come down there, that's what's going to make this so successful in itself. Word of mouth.
That's good. Good marketing.
yeah, and it's a community event too. If you don't have the means to donate, just come down to the event to experience it. The event is open to the entire community, so that's what it's intended for. Ultimately, it is a fundraiser, but it is also to bring the community together around this one cause.
Anything else?
No, I think you ought to both be congratulated, for the high honors that you did. I went last year, and the turnout was terrific. The organization, the way you had it all organized, like you said, was really terrific. And even this weekend, I attended Mass on 4 o'clock on Sunday, and people were already talking about going around, getting sponsors, and they were really excited about going for that walk and everything. So, it's left a great impression, and that was with a lot of the senior citizens also. They were very involved. Like I said, they were talking about it very highly on Saturday afternoon, and they were out there getting the signatures and sponsorships. So, again, I think you terrific job, you, your group, and all your staff, and the patrons that the people donated their time and made this thing a success. So, again,
Thank you.
I happened to get there last year, a little bit late into the program. It was early evening, and you were doing one of your theme walks, and I got there right at the moment where you made me walk backwards for 2 laps, so I appreciated that. But that was good. You mentioned earlier that we as selectmen should be very proud that we have this event in Wilmington. I'm certain that we all are. I know that I am. But I want to really echo that back out to the town itself, to the community, to the residents in Wilmington. We should all be very proud to have this event here, and you gentlemen for making it available to us as residents. I think it's a prideful thing for everyone in this community, not just us as politicians or government officials, and not just you guys as the administrators of the event. Really, every single person in this community should be proud to have it here, and I hope that it continues to grow for you so that you can continue to fight this disease away.
Yeah.
So thank you for your efforts.
Thank you.
I think it's all been said. I just echo what's already been said by the other members. Thank you, and good luck. I know you'll have another successful effort.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And one final note, May 14th, this Friday, it's about a year, it'll be this weekend's a year from our first relay. And relays, American Cancer Society's theme this year is, or that they're the official sponsors for birthdays. So we look at it this Friday as our one-year birthday for Relay for Life. So May 14th, we're designated it as Power of Purple Day, and we're asking residents in town to wear purple on Friday. We're asking any previous participants to either wear their relay shirt or purple on Friday. We've already started this up on Facebook as well, and we're trying to get the word out there to see how big we can get it. So, I won't be in Wilmington, but I'll be wearing my purple.
All right. Thank you again.
Thank you again for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Our next order of business is the reorganization of the board. Just like to preface that discussion by, again, thanking the board for what I consider to be another successful year this past year. I think because of the professionalism that this board has brought to the meetings, it's really made at least the part of running the meetings enjoyable and rather easy for the most part. So without anything further, thank you. And do we have any motions or questions or comments?
Well, I'd like to, are we motioning or nominating? How does this, what's the?
Either way, technically a nomination can be made without a second, but because a vote has been taken, it's historically been made in the form of a motion.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, I find myself always a little conflicted in this regard because, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to make a motion not for you as the chairman. And in no way, shape, or form does that reflect on any kind of negative opinion of the work you've done. Quite the contrary. I guess I'll preface by saying I've felt that you've been a great leader to this board, certainly a great leader to me, and allowed me in my first year on the board to learn a lot. And so I commend you and I thank you for your service. With all that said, I would like to move or ask that we consider Lou Smaglia for our upcoming year as the chairman of the board.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, made and seconded.
Before you take a second, I'd just like to echo what my fellow selectmen said down the table about you as being chairman. I think you've done a good job as chairman. Everything's been very cordial. Everything's been, professional. And we may have a difference of opinion. We agree or disagree, but it's all been done civil when everyone's had an opportunity to go to a town meeting or to voice their opinion. And that's what it's all about, town government, is to try to work together. And at the end of the day, just at least we can walk away with a good handshake. Difference of opinions, but at least we're putting our message out there and people can see different sides of different views of different folks. And I think the bottom line is we're taking care of the people's business. That is the end result. We take care of the people's business. At the end of the day, we've done a lot in this community. And I think we've done a good job, and you've done a good job as chairman, and I just want to echo that as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we go on, I'd just like to say, Mr. Chairman, that the last 3 years, it was an honor serving with you. I think you brought a lot of respect to the board, and we worked as a group together. I think sincerely that I learned a lot from you as a person, and I learned a lot from you even as a member to the board. And I'd like to say thank you for the 3 years that you served.
Thank you, and again, appreciate the kind words. I think it was really the board that is responsible for the success. So, anything else? Motion's been made and seconded. Anything further? All in favor? It's unanimous.
Congratulations.
And congratulations.
Congratulations.
Customary to swap seats and have you chair the remainder of the meeting.
They're already given orders.
Excuse my reach.
Thank you, Mike. I just would like to echo what's been said up here. I think you've been a phenomenal leader. throughout your past 3 years that I've been on the board, and fortunate to have you as the chairman of the board. As Ray said, the education that you've given us all, and you've given us some great direction to go in. And I think, as Mr. McCoy said, we've done the town's business very good. And I'd like to also mention, the senior leadership from Mr. McCoy over the past 3 years that I've been on the board, and all the professionalism that we've done as a whole board, and I really appreciate it. And I'll be honored to lead this board over the next year, and I thank you for that opportunity, guys. Thank you.
Forward to it.
Thank you.
Communications.
Communications, the first item on the agenda is a memorandum from the town manager to the board with respect to the town's bond rating, and I'll just review the manager's memo. As you know, the Standard & Poor's raised its long-term municipal bond rating for the town of Wilmington to AA+ from AA-, based upon the town's good reserve levels, strong tax base, and very low debt burden. The new rating amounted to a double upgrade from the town, for the town, and is believed to be the highest bond rating in the town's history. The rating AA+ is the second highest rating that can be issued. The official statement released by Standard & Poor's commented favorably on the town's financial position, citing numerous strong local economic indicators. The statement cited the town's good financial management practices and Standard & Poor's expectation that the town would continue to maintain its strong financial position as contributing factors to the town's financial stability and strong rating. The rating validates the board's commitment to professional management and reflects the solid work performance of Wilmington's employees and the dedication of its many town officials. And just to point out some of the issues or indicators that were referenced in Standard & Poor's report back, they indicate the rating reflects the town's following strengths. Access to the Boston economy, very strong local economic indicators, good reserve levels despite fund balance drawdowns, and very low debt burden coupled with a rapid amortization schedule. Income levels that are very strong with per capita effective buying income and median income at 119 and 158% respectively of the state and national average in 2008. They further note the local expansion activities include a $75 million facility upgrade for the Textron Systems Corporation and the construction of 2 new buildings by Koch Membrane Systems, which management anticipates will create 500 new jobs over the next several years. Additionally, a new $7 million retail mall, Wilmington Crossing, and a 99-bed upscale assisted living facility were recently established. Unreserved general fund balance stood at $5.7 million, or in our view, a good 7.4% of expenditures at the end of fiscal 2009, compared with $3.1 million, or 4.8% in fiscal 2005. So those were some of the things that they looked at in terms of the bond rating. The next item on the agenda is correspondence from the MWRA. This is with respect to an annual award that's given out to students for an essay and poster contest. The Massachusetts Water Resources Authority recently held the 29th annual poster writing contest. An awards ceremony to honor the students and their teachers is scheduled for Friday, May 28th, 2010, in the reception training building at the Deer Island Treatment Facility. And they indicate there's a list of individuals, students who received awards, and there are 3 students from Wilmington. This is in the category of writing, grades 9 to 12. Larissa Pinkowski received a 3rd place award. She's attending the Wilmington High School as in 11th grade. Elena Coakley, honorable mention, also a Wilmington High School student, grade 10. and Stefan Rodenheiser, honorable mention, Wilmington High School, grade 10. Correspondence from the Central Mass Mosquito Control Project. In recognition of Earth Day 2010, I would like to announce the launch of a tire collection and recycling program as a value-added service to our member communities. Using grant money received as well as our standard operating budget, we have begun to collect and transport recycling used tire casings as part of our integrated pest management program, a technique called source reduction, or reduction or elimination of larval mosquito habitat. And they go on from there. Essentially, the way this program works is that the representatives from Central Mass Mosquito Control will be making arrangements with the town, probably sometime in the fall or winter, to come out and do a curbside collection of tires. There'll be more information coming out later on this, but essentially residents will be able to call a number and indicate their particular location, put out tires at the curb, and they'll be collected. Correspondence from the Clean Water Action of Massachusetts. We're writing to alert you to important action you can take this week that will lead to significant cost savings for your municipality year after year. 2 key bills have been filed in the state legislature regarding discarded electronics such as computers and TVs and mercury-added lamps. These bills call for brand owners or first importers of these products to pay for their collection, recycling, and safe disposal. There's House Bill 4374, an act to require producer responsibility for collection, reuse, and recycling of discarded electronic products, and then House 726, an act relative to producer responsibility for mercury-added lamps. So this organization has noted that the board has in the past signed a petition along with 179 other cities and towns endorsing legislation to this effect, and is requesting that the board send a letter to both Robert DeLeo, the Speaker of the House, as well as Charles Murphy, the Chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee.
Do we want to take action on that, or?
Well, I'm always concerned, I think I don't hear a downside, but I always get concerned anytime there's money involved in this climate that there's no such thing as at no cost. So I always get concerned about where the money might be taken from someplace else. But certainly have no objection to supporting the goals of the legislation, and then our legislative delegation, if there's any snakes in the woodpile, could let us know what they know.
Right.
So if I may ask, there's no specific motion to send a letter, is there? Or is that what we're being asked to consider? Are we as a board being challenged by Ms. Kettleson to send a letter to our delegation?
Correct, that's when she's added some sample letters. I agree with Mike. I think there's going to be cost incurred somewhere, especially from the manufacturers of these companies that are going to have to.
It'll be a trickle down. It's going to come back to consumers anyway. But, I mean, the other side of it is if we can keep these things out of the landfills and minimize the mercury percolating down through the, I guess I would take the position that our legislators, it's not the first time they're hearing about this, and they hopefully have their eye on the ball.
I think, I agree, they probably, I'm sure they do. If the board wants to send a letter supporting the purpose of the legislation and inviting the legislative delegation to comment, that'd be fine, or we can just trust that they're going to keep the best interest of Wilmington in mind
that they're well aware of it. I'm comfortable with either approach, whatever the board wants to do.
Well, I'd like to hear about any snakes in the pile. No, frankly, I mean, I kind of half kid, because you used the euphemism, but I don't see any snakes in this language, but maybe, as we always know, there's another side to this story, and I'd be interested to hear about what the other side is, and then I feel like I can make a good decision about whether or not to encourage a letter or not. I don't know if we can maybe send a brief commentary or a brief request to our two representatives to see if they have any feedback about their opinions on this subject.
Is that what we're hearing?
It's fine, I have no problem with that.
Except the town manager said.
Correspondence.
The next item is some correspondence from Jane Labassiere from Verizon. She is writing to inform the board about programming-related changes to Verizon's Fios TV service. Certain premium package subscribers are receiving the same channel on two different channels in the channel lineup. Identical programming, only at different times. On or after June 21st, 2010, customers subscribing to one of the premium packages that include Cinemax and/or the movie channel will see one of these identical programming channels removed from the channel lineup. She references the various programs affected. Comcast, this is from Jane Lyman, Senior Manager, Government of Community Relations. Also updating the board on channel lineup changes and price listing updates. We are writing to share some channel lineup changes. Effective June 1st, 2010, we will make changes to our channel lineup, and she provides specifics on the actual changes. Effective August 1st, Comcast will no longer offer non-digital set-top boxes. Digital equipment will continue to be available to customers with older televisions requiring a device to see all the channels in their respective service levels. In addition, beginning August 1st, a name change fee of $1.99 will apply to any account requesting a transfer to a new account holder. Lastly, our price adjustment notice does not provide the monthly digital additional outlet charge for customers with a cable card. We sent a follow-up notice to customers indicating that this monthly charge was decreasing from $6.95 to $6. We have correspondence from Carl Sagal expressing his interest to serve on the Board of Appeals. Correspondence from Ed Loud expressing his interest to be reappointed to the Board of Appeals. Correspondence from Paul Bruce Jr. Expressing his interest to serve as a constable for the town, continue to serve as a constable. Correspondence from Ronald DiGiorgio, again expressing interest in continuing to serve as a constable. Letter from John Rowan expressing his interest in continuing to serve as a constable. And then we have a letter from Jane Crane, who is the chairwoman of the Arts Council. I'd like to recommend a new appointment to the Arts Council, Jean Chang. She's a lifelong resident of Wilmington, along with a full-time job in the medical field. Jane is an accomplished photographer and recently added painting watercolor to her interests. She also just published a book of her own on wildflower photographs, all photographs taken in Wilmington, expressing a recommendation there. At this point, we have the board to consider appointments and reappointments for a number of positions. I will just read the memo that the town manager sent to the board, and then you can take action from there. The following is a list of incumbents who may be considered for reappointment. Appointments and reappointments are scheduled to be considered on May 10th. For the Board of Appeals, 5-year term to expire
2015, Edward Loud. Board of Registrars, 3-year term to expire 2013, Priscilla R. Ward. Council for the Arts, 2-year term to expire 2012, Linda Malloy, Margarita Eli, Sarah B. Campbell, and a recommendation for a new appointment, Jean Chang. And then Town Council, a 1-year term to expire June 30, 2011, John Foskett as lead counsel for Deutsch, Williams, Brooks, Durensis, and Holland. With respect to constables, Paul D. Bruce Jr., Paul J. Bruno Sr., Alan C. Hunter, Cheryl M. Pryor, Charles E. Rooney Jr. And then the following individuals, the restriction noted is that these, the next individuals to be referenced here, not to solicit clients, authority to serve civil process for clients who need service into Wilmington. Those individuals would be John B. Bridges Jr., Ronald M. DiGiorio, Williford A. Lambert, John Molino, David M. Moskowitz, John J. Rowan, Anthony J. Saya, Raymond C. Spinazzola, and William J. Zampel Jr. And then finally, Ellen G. Davis Sawyer, only in conjunction with duties as animal control officer.
As far as I can see, there's only one opening for the Board of Appeals, that we have 2 people that are interested. Should we deal with one at a time, one at a time, or should we go ahead and?
Mr. Chairman, if you want, I'd offer a motion that we reappoint Edward Loud for another term on the Board of Appeals for his term to expire in the year 2015. I haven't heard any issues about him on the board. I've heard he's doing fine, and I just continue to keep his tenure.
Second?
We have a motion made and second. Any?
I'll second.
Oh, we have a second?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Any other comments? All those in favor? Unanimous? Now, do we have to do all the rest in order here, or can we just do them all as, there's no recommendations?
Mr. Chairman, the one that's not, you said there was 2 and only Eddie Loud put in for that Board
Well,
of
that was the
Appeals?
only one they said, I saw somebody else had put a request in.
Yeah, there is an opening though on the Board of Appeals?
Well, Ed Loud's term is up.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I move to appoint Priscilla R. Ward to the Board of Registrars for a 3-year term to expire 2013.
I'd second that motion.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Unanimous?
I will move to approve Linda Malloy, Marguerite Elia, Sarah Campbell, and Jean Chang to 2-year terms to expire 2012 for the Council for the Arts.
Second?
Motion made and second. All those in favor? Unanimous?
I'll move that we appoint John Foskett for a one-year term to expire June 30th, 2011.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous?
Mr. Chairman, I would move to appoint Paul D. Bruce Jr., Paul J. Bruno Sr., Alan C. Hunter, Cheryl M. Pryor, and Charles E. Rooney Jr. as constables for a 1-year term to expire June 30, 2011, without restrictions.
I'd second that.
Motion made and second. All in favor? Unanimous? Entertain a motion for the remainder of them with the restrictions?
So moved?
Second.
Second.
I'd second that.
Yeah.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous?
Move to approve Ellen Davis Sawyer in conjunction with her duties as animal control officer.
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Unanimous?
The next item on the agenda is the board to consider ratification of town manager appointments and reappointments to committees. Below is a list of individuals who the town manager wishes to appoint for the terms and positions indicated. Wilmington Commission on Disabilities, 3-year term to expire 2013. Frank A. Body and Joseph P. Franceschi, Jr. For the Historical Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013. Bonnie A. Smith, Robert R. Butters, Jr. Permanent Building Committee, 3-year term to expire 2013. Joseph J. Perella, Jr. This requires a vote of the board.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint the individuals as identified and outlined by the Assistant Town Manager and as set forth in the memorandum.
I'd second the motion.
Motion made and seconded, all in favor? Unanimous?
The next item of the agenda is the town manager's listing of, or announcement of appointments to be made to various boards and committees. Animal Control Officer, 1-year term to expire 2011, Ellen G. Sawyer. Animal Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, Ellen G. Sawyer. Auxiliary Police Officer, 3-year term to expire 2013, Peter R. Brownell, Jr., Stephen M. Kane, Pasquale D'Antonio, Mark DeLeo, Bradford P. Notner, Jason M. LeBlanc, Donald B. Morris, Ralph M. Plumer, Sandra A. Rumsey, Charles E. Rooney, Jr., and Edward E. Thompson. Building Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, John T. Spalding, Peter R. Maggie, Local Inspector. To the Carter Lecture Fund Committee, 3-year term to expire 2013, H. Elizabeth White and Adele C. Passmore. Cemetery Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013, Cynthia A. McHugh. Conservation Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013, Judith A. Waterhouse, Frank J. Ingram, Donald J. Pearson. Elderly Services Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013, Francis Safarza, John J. King, Mary Smith. Electrical Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, Frederick Sutter and Arthur T. Kelly, alternate. Gas Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, Paul J. Raffi, John J. Mytek Jr., alternate. Board of Health, 3-year term to expire 2013, James A. Ficacello. Library Trustee, 3-year term to expire 2013, Donald J. Pearson, Suzanne L. Clarkin. Planning Board, 5-year term to expire 2015, Rondi R. Holland. Plumbing Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, Paul J. Raffi, John J. Mytek Jr., alternate. Public Weigher, 1-year term to expire 2011, Paul Anderson, Kenneth M. Heffron, Stephen J. Stella, David A. Chagru. Recreation Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013, Charles Biondo, Mark Kennedy. Veterans Agent, 1-year term to expire 2011, Louis Semeglia IV. Veterans Grave Officer, 1-year term to expire 2011, Louis Semeglia IV. Water and Sewer Commission, 3-year term to expire 2013, Joseph J. Bolero. Wiring Inspector, 1-year term to expire 2011, Frederick Sutter and Arthur T. Kelly, alternate.
Questions, comments, or a motion?
This,
Oh, this is no motion.
Non-motion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The next item is board to consider a request, I'm sorry, the next item is the board to consider signing access lease agreements for Olin Corporation. There's a memorandum from the board that I'll just highlight here. The attached access and lease agreements would enable Olin to access town-owned premises to conduct groundwater monitoring and sampling activities in compliance with field work authorized by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The documents that have been readied for your execution have been prepared in consultation with the town council's office and representatives from the town's environmental consultant, GeoInsight. Attorney Lewis Ross and Michael Webster, P.E., recommend that you sign the access license agreements. Thank you for your cooperation. This, the process here would be that the board is being asked to sign 6 agreements this evening. There's actually 2 signature pages for each agreement. These will then be held this week and presented to the Water Sewer Commissioners for their approval next week at their meeting. It's expected that there will be 2 additional agreements that will be brought forward. Those unfortunately weren't ready for this evening.
Okay, do we have any questions, comments, or a motion?
I move the board sign the access lease and agreements for the Olin Corporation as outlined by the Assistant Town Manager and as recommended by Town Council and our environmental consultant.
I'd second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Unanimous?
Okay, the final item on the agenda for executive session would be the board to consider a request from Deborah Cipriani, Recreation Director, to use the town common and gazebo for the summer concert series on which will run on Wednesdays, July 7, July 14th, July 21, and July 28th, then August 4th, August 11th as rain dates.
Any conflicts with the scheduling of the common? No? Questions, comments, motion?
I would move that we approve the use of the town common and gazebo for the summer concert series on the dates as just read for the Recreation Director, Deborah Cipriani.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Question, all in favor? It's unanimous. Public comments. Mr. Marchese.
Mario Marchese, 5 Somerset. First off, Mr. Newhouse, I just want to congratulate you in the past 3 years. I think you've done a phenomenal job and a wonderful service of the town of Wilmington as chair. I'm sorry to see you stepping aside, but you did a great job, and I would love to see you again in that chair because, again, you did a phenomenal job. So, again, congratulations on your service. To Mr. Smaglia, I congratulate you on being chair. And I heard tonight that you got reappointed as Veterans Agent. And just, I know it's probably the thought in everyone's mind or whatever. All I ask is that you being chair and also the Veterans Agent, I'm not sure how you can differentiate between the two, between the night job, the day job, you know, working with the town manager during the day, and he's technically working for you at night at Board of Selectmen, therefore. So, again, it is not, I'm not trying to debate with you, whatever, it's just sure it's on the thoughts and minds of everybody else out there. So, as chair, just respectfully remember that people are thinking that in the back of their head somewhere. So, again, congratulations on the appointment, though.
Thank you. Any other public comments? No? New business committee reports?
Can I just make a quick comment, Mr. Chairman? Maybe the next meeting or two, if you can sit with the town manager and obviously give us a letter ahead of time, that maybe we can set agenda time, talk about, you know, the traffic here in the community. I know not too long ago, we've only had 3 sets of traffic lights. Wilmington Center, down by the Silver Lake area, and also when McNamara sold to Rite Aid, they put a set of lights there. Since over the last couple of years, there's 5 more sets of lights here in the town. I don't think I have all the answers to the solutions, but being a steward of the town, living in the community and traveling around the town, I see that maybe there's a possibility that some of these signalizations should last a little longer, going in a certain direction. I think we need to take a look at it. I know I brought up a while ago at Wilmington Center. I would like to revisit that, right in front of the post office. Unfortunately, when people do deliver their mail, I mean, they have a 15-minute parking opportunity to to give their mail to the post office. I don't know if there's a possibility of meeting with the post office, trying to figure out a solution where to relocate that. I really believe that we should either work out with those abutters that own the property there. If not, possibility eminent domain, take 4 feet of area, because what's happened is this bottlenecking. And you know yourself, living in this community, when you're coming up from the high school to Wilmington Center, you want to take a left. Sometimes you're in traffic for 2 sets of lights before you can take a left. And it's just ridiculous. I believe if we look at something like that, I believe that we can have 2 rows of traffic going continuously. The goal I'm looking is try to move the traffic a little bit smoother, not as quick, to cause accidents, but to move it quicker than what it is now. And I think we need to be conscious of the fact of these 5 extra lights now here in the town. It's becoming problematic moving, and I don't say it wisely, but I think I can get on I-93 and get down to Somerville area quicker than I can leaving, say, on Lowell Street to get to the Tewksbury line during peak hours. And never thought I would say that, but it's starting to happen. And I would hope, as you as chairman, that we could set agenda time and maybe look at it. I know we have a planning board, but maybe we need to have maybe a commission, a traffic commission, to take a look at that. And I'd be happy to be on that if there was a possibility of looking at or giving some ideas. I'm not a professional engineer, but live in the community. I think some traffic signalization should be a little bit longer than others. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a quick item. A resident had asked me about the status of the sound barriers along Route 93 that had been publicly discussed at some point. I know it's funding from the federal government through the state government implemented on the state level. So I wonder if we could just reach out to our legislative delegation, find out what the status is so that I could report back to that constituent, either at a meeting or outside a meeting. Doesn't matter. Got it? That's it.
Right.
I'm not sure.
A couple small bullets. I guess I just wanted to draw attention to and congratulate everybody in Wilmington for the town meeting a couple weeks ago. I think it is the purest form of democracy. It's government by the people in action, and all that went and attended, and in some cases were patient to deal with some of the occurrences there, I think deserve to be commended, and thank you for coming, and congratulations to you all. That said, I guess I'm personally excited that the feasibility study passed, and I'm very excited for the beginning of that initiative and for some of the findings that will come out of it. I'm hopeful that that study will reveal a good positive course of action that Wilmington can take. I want to draw our attention to Mr. McCoy's comments about traffic. I agree. I think that's a good idea. But I also, I guess, in that vein, I took notice the other day as I was driving by that the non-story that we were all waiting for to become a story, the sonic chaos, never became chaos. And I think I'm going to point a lot of reason that has been such a non-negative, I guess, from a traffic standpoint. You can make your own decisions about whether or not you like the entity or the business model. But from a traffic standpoint, I will commend the professional police officers or the details that have been there and the way that the traffic has been managed in that area. I think it's been mostly a positive, and I think we were all sort of gearing up for, oh boy, this is going to be tough, and it hasn't yet, and maybe we'll see, maybe time will tell, but I think it's been a positive. And lastly, if I may, I wanted to draw our attention to the fact that Mr. Sagal did offer his name for consideration for the Board of Appeals, and I commend you for it, Mr. Sagal. As you know, obviously, Mr. Loud had indicated his intention and desire to maintain his presence, and we voted him in this evening. But again, I want to acknowledge and I guess appreciate your willingness to step up and be considered, and I'm certain that we'll find a way to put your good good efforts to use. That is all.
Thank you. I'd just like to touch on the Standard & Poor's municipal bond rating again. I think it's extremely important for a town to get that kind of rating, and I don't know if Wilmington could ever get any higher, being the size and the outlay of the town and the financial situation of the town and the mean income. But a lot of work, a lot of hard work from the town manager's office and his staff did, in a little over 2 weeks, they had to get a lot of information in, and I think that's kudos to them for being able to do that. And thanks again, guys, for giving me the opportunity to serve up here as your chairman. Important dates?
Important dates. We have the curbside collection of yard waste, May 14th. Brush drop-off on May 12th, Old Main Street, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. May 13th, Tiny Tots Kids Club registration, Town Hall Auditorium, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. May 14th, Good Guy Award Dinner. And May 15th, brush drop-off, Old Main Street, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
I believe the curbside collection of yard waste is May 10th to the 14th, is that?
Yes, right, May 10th to the 14th, yeah.
Okay, entertain a motion to go to executive session, not to return to open session.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor? Roll call vote?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Unanimous?